of our weekly Ask Me Anything live streams where for the next 20 minutes I will be answering your questions in real time. So if you have a question on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on Twitter, on YouTube, on IGTV, on TikTok, all those fun, fabulous things, I will happily get as many answered as possible today in the next 20 minutes. We had a lot of really great questions come in early this week, so let's go ahead and dive in and take a look. The first one is a really great question all about who gets notified when you are live streaming on Instagram. So when you are live on Instagram, who does it kick it out to specifically if you have a guest on with you? So let's talk about this. When you are live streaming on Instagram, Instagram does notify some of your followers. They will ping that out and let people know that you are live after a few minutes to get people to come and engage with your content that you are creating. When you have a guest on, your guest's fans are also notified in the same way that your fans are notified. So if you go to your Instagram page, up at the top with the stories, wherever you see those little circles that say that someone is live, that always displays there for both you and for your guest. If people are friends with you or they're following you, they're going to see your circle on top saying that you're live with somebody. And if someone is a follower of the other person, that person will be on top saying they're live with somebody so that they can see that profile picture and then identify that they know that person, they want to jump into that live stream. So at that point, you are up at the top of the stories feed all the time when you are live so people can actively see it when they go into the Instagram account. Now, some of your fans are notified, and we actually had this conversation on the YouTube page this week because not all of your fans are notified. If you have thousands and thousands of followers, you're not getting those notifications every single time that you go live. Think about it this way. You follow people on Instagram, but these people who are live streaming, you're not notified every single time. This is because that would be potentially thousands of notifications all the time when people are going live. So they notify people that they think might want to come to your live stream. And they usually do it within the first 5-ish minutes of your live stream, which is why your live streams need to be long enough for people to get that notification to jump on with you. And they are going to send that out to people they think might show up. Those people will then come, and if you get engagement from that, they're going to let other people know as well. This is the same as it works for any type of content that you are putting out there on social media. So your posts are shown to a select group of people. If they engage with it, they're shown to more people. If those people engage with it, it's shown to more people. That's how you go bigger and better on social media and potentially viral. But if that first wave of people does not interact with your content, probably not going to send it to too many more people because they've already said this is not something that we really want to engage with, and their entire goal is to keep people on the platform. So they will notify some of your followers when you go live, and based on their reactions and interactions and who is inside of your live stream engaging with you, you will be sent out to more and more people. Otherwise, you're just going to live up at the top where the stories are. Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for jumping in and joining us today. If you've got social media questions, I would love to get those answered for you. Go ahead and pop those into the comments right now as we're continuing to chat about questions that came in earlier this week. Train with Zane jumped in and said, I love this because I am not a fan of Zoom. I find it difficult and doesn't fit my needs. Can't wait to look into this. We were talking all about two of my favorite Zoom alternatives for live streaming, having meetings, all those fun, fabulous things. We talked all about VLive and Melon. And I highly recommend you check out the video if you have not. Train with Zane, thanks so much for hanging out. Always appreciate seeing your comments. We had another great question, and I really kind of want to talk about this one. It says, love your videos, quite helpful. I do have a problem with Instagram. I set the record time for 30 seconds, and it records for 30 seconds. But then after I edit text and etc., and I go to share it, it always cuts off the reel at 15 seconds. What suggestions do you have? We talked a little bit about this next week, but I wanted to provide you with an update for this one as well. So my advice last week was that when you're having glitches with Instagram or any social media platform and it's not doing something that it should be doing or it was doing before or it's working for everybody else but not you, that typically means one of two things. Either your app needs to be updated, there's some kind of weird glitch going on, or your phone needs to be restarted because this can cause your apps to glitch. Now, Jer actually did jump in and tried the full reset of the phone, not reset, but a restart of the phone. So we shut the phone entirely down and opened the phone again. We started it back up, and that did solve the problem. So just a quick refresh of the app. usually works. So if you're on an iPhone, you can actually swipe up and then clear out that app entirely by swiping it out away, going back into it. If that doesn't work, check for an update inside of the App Store. If that's not it, shut the phone down entirely. So many of us have cell phones that we have not restarted in weeks. I am so guilty of that. And that can actually impact the phone's performance and the app's performance as well. So make sure you're shutting things all the way down, waiting a good 15, 20, 30 seconds, and then restarting things. And then you should, in most cases, be good to go with that. But if that's not it, there are alternatives for that, which we've talked about in Missing Features video for our Instagram accounts. You can check that one out, and that gives you some troubleshooting steps that you can be seeing as well. Jared, thanks so much for writing in and updating us on this one. We got some great comments again for our Zoom alternatives. A lot of people have not heard of these platforms, but so good to be checking them out. So the Money Management and Yes to Tech, thanks so much for leaving all of the great comment love over on the YouTube page this week. Pally Gaming Time says, my problem are on Instagram. Okay, their problems on Instagram is that they have two different accounts, and you can do Reels on one, but not on the other. So we were talking about, again, those missing Instagram features and how to fix those. And with this, they have two different accounts, and some of them have access to the 15-second Reels. Some of them have access to the 30-second Reels, or other features in this case. With this, you need to know, and this is really important, when Instagram or any social media platform rolls out new features, they do it in sections or in segments. And this can be based on a number of different things. It can be based on your location. It can be based on your phone type, or it can be based on when your account was created and how it's segmented in their system. And yesterday, the last 2 days actually, we had a video blow up, or like thousands of views within just a couple of hours. It was insane. And with that, we had a lot of people who didn't have this new feature inside of an Instagram spin-off app. They were very upset about this. But this is getting rolled out in sections. So people in certain countries don't have access to it yet. People with certain phone types don't have access to it yet. And based on when accounts were created and how they're segmented in the system, they're being rolled out at different times. I have had, especially with the Instagram Reels 30 versus 15-second content, one of my accounts has the 30 seconds and one of my accounts has the 15 seconds. It's because I created my accounts at different times, and they're in different segments in the system. They just roll it out to different segments at different times so it doesn't overwhelm the system and crash the app. So if you don't have it, you'll probably have it within the next couple of days or weeks. And then it does, of course, come down to location and phone type as well. So Instagram tends to roll out features to iOS first, so iPhones, and then Android things later on. So you have to take into consideration the phone type you have, your location, so different countries get it at different times, and then different segments within the system get it at different times. Right now on the Instagram Threads spin-off app, not everybody has the transcribe feature. We are finding that right now it's certain accounts inside of the US have access to it. And again, it's based on the segmenting. Some people in the US don't have access to it. And a lot of countries outside of the US also don't have access to it. Something that is rolling out, you just have to be patient on that one. So if you ever have a feature that you can't find, it's usually because it hasn't rolled out to you yet. Just give it a couple of weeks and you will get it at some point. Danielle is jumping in, has a great question. When starting a YouTube channel, how often do you recommend posting a video and how long should they be? So when it comes to this, I do recommend that you are posting no less than once a week on YouTube. YouTube is all about consistency. Minimum that you can do is once a week to start growing. If you are doing once a month, people are not going to be around for that. They're just not going to stay. Minimum of once a week is going to be the bare minimum of how you can grow. I would recommend 2 to 3 times per week. I wouldn't necessarily recommend more than that. Like my brain tells me, yes, do one a day. But then you also have to take into consideration the algorithm. So with the algorithm, they do kick out your video on that first day. They also kick out your video on the second and third day to really see how your performance is going to do. If you are putting one video out and then the next day you're putting another video out, then your time is split between those two videos and you're not going to get as much engagement on both of them. So if you have one bottle of water, here's a great visual. One bottle of water, you're pouring it into a cup. You can either pour it all into one cup and get the full amount into a cup, or you can pour half of it into one cup and half of it into the other cup, and then you've only got half of those views on each of those videos. Does that make sense? when it comes to that, you want to take into consideration how you should be spacing them out. So give all of those views to that one video. Wait a few days, then give all the views to a new video instead of giving a bunch of views to the first video and then some to the second and some to the first. That's just not something you want to do, especially at the beginning of your YouTube channel. Typically, I recommend 2 to 3 times per week for your best results growing on YouTube. And in terms of how long it should be, you have to keep in mind that most people are working toward monetization for their channel, which means you want to be able to run ads. To run ads on your video, you do have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. You have to earn that right to have money coming in from your ads. Now, YouTube did just announce this week that they're going to be running ads on all videos, whether you're monetized or not. So you have to get to the 1K followers and the 4K watch hours in order to make money off of it, but they're going to run ads on your videos anyway. So you need to hustle to get that money in your pocket instead of theirs. But when it comes to ads, there are different types of ad placements. So you do have the ability to do whatever you want in terms of placement for your ads. They can be on screen, they can be before, so pre-roll ads, they can be in the middle of your show your video, it will pause it and do an ad. There are lots of different venues for bringing in income when it comes to ads. And the more footage you have, the more ads they can insert, which means the more money you can make. So if you have a 15-minute video, they can put one before and they can put one in the middle. If you have a 3-minute video, maybe they're just going to put one before because it doesn't make sense to go 1:30 and have another ad, right? So the longer your videos, the more ads they can play, the more money you can make. If you're thinking in terms of money, longer is probably a bit better. I will say, though, I typically do shorter videos. Mine typically do not go that long. I typically go between like 3 to like 7-ish minutes on mine because I am trying to get information out as quickly as possible. And when I do that, I'm not going to get as much ad revenue, but I am going to get those clicks and those views to get people information to do something faster, which tends to mean I get more views on my videos compared to the person who is teaching the same thing in 15 minutes that I'm teaching in 4 minutes. So that can bump me up in the standings, which can then get more eyes on me. And if we're progressing through all of these things, the logic says that if I am bumping up in the standings, so I'm ranked higher, if I'm the first one there, the first 1, 2, or 3 videos there, I'm going to get more views than my competitors, which could potentially yield me more money than them having a longer video with more ads in it and less views because it's longer. So really it comes down to what works for you. And what works for your channel and what works for where you are going with your videos. And it comes down to also what you're teaching. So the things that you are teaching are very, very important to take into consideration as you're doing this. If it's going to be more of a mindset thing, you're not going to have like a 2-minute video on a complete mindset shift. If you're teaching a full tutorial on how to use Instagram and every single button, it's not going to be a 3-minute video. So just think about what you're doing and what works best for you. And of course, you also want to take into consideration YouTube's new Shorts feature, which is vertical video under 60 seconds. If you've not seen our videos on that, make sure you check those out now. And Danielle, thanks for the shout out for my sparkly earrings today. I do appreciate that. If you've got questions, go ahead and send those in right now. We did have more that came in this week that I want to chat about, and I would love to get those answered for you today. So we had a lot of really great, lovely comments about our video all about Instagram guides. So this is a brand new feature over on Instagram that allows you to almost create a virtual magazine of the content you created on your Instagram page. It allows you to take posts, reels, and videos and put them in collections, which people can then go and see. So anything connected to one topic can go through almost like a tutorial teaching you how to do all the steps related to that topic, or to show off specific things that you're selling. So let's just say you've got a specific clothing line and you want to show off all your dresses that you've posted on Instagram before. You can do that. Or let's say you are a candle maker and you want to show off specific Christmas-based candles that people can have in the upcoming season. You can group those all together inside of guides. So make sure you check that out. And I thank you guys for loving on that as well. These are so nice of you to say all these fabulous things. I do appreciate it. We had another question about TikTok. And this one is really good because you can live stream on TikTok, but not everybody has the ability or the access to do it just yet. So to live stream on TikTok, you do have to have 1,000 subscribers, and you do have to be over 18, and you have to be in good standing with the app. So there are a couple of different things, and of course there are some countries that don't allow you to do that either, but if you don't have 1,000 subscribers, you don't have access to live streaming, which is probably the problem in this particular case, or maybe you're not over 18. Check on those factors, and if you are in good standing, you do have over 1,000 subscribers, and you are over 18 and you still can't get access to this, contact TikTok because they can add it to your account. George jumped in and said, the scariest thing for me is just messing up and being judged or not having anyone show up to my live streams. We were talking all about how you can go live through Logitech's new live streaming platform with Streamlabs. It is called Melon. It is so much fun to use. It's super easy to use too. You can go live in like 5 clicks and like so easy and user friendly, and the interface is gorgeous. But George was mentioning that the scariest thing is being judged or not having anyone show up. Now, we do have tons of resources on this over on livestreamactionplan.com for you. You can go check that out. But I totally get the very real, very scary feeling of being judged while you are on your live streams, especially if you're not quite sure what you're going to say, or you're stumbling over your words, or people are jumping in with questions and comments. You're not quite sure how to answer properly. I get that. Trust me. But that is something you have to work on. You have to grow through that. And we've got tips and tricks on how to look and feel better on camera over on livestreamactionplan.com. You can go check that out. But in terms of not having anybody show up, plant people. That is super easy for you to do. Find a friend, find a family member, find somebody, and ask them to come watch your live stream. And then ask them to specifically ask you questions. You can either give them really good questions, you can give them directions for questions, or you can have them make up things as they go, but ask them to come and ask some questions. That shows social proof that people are there, and it gives you something to talk about that you confidently know that you can answer, because they are not going to like come at you with vicious questions. So plant people in your audience, have them show up so that you always have somebody to talk to. And the more you do that, the more people are going to see that people are commenting and showing up and interacting, and the more likely they will be to come and show up to your shows as well. Also on that note, plan weekly live streams. Do it on the same day at the same time every week so that people know to plan it into their schedule so they can show up while you are live streaming. If you just go live whenever and it's not consistent, people won't know and they won't be able to show up in a lot of cases. So have a schedule and train people to show up, and then train them how to engage with you. Your first couple of live streams, even for the first couple of weeks and months, could be really, really not awesome for you. It's a learning and growing experience. So please don't stress over your first ones. They will suck. End of discussion. My first live streams, not good. It was not a pretty situation. You guys know I've talked about these before, and I have grown as I've learned to go through this, and you will too. Get the messy stuff out of the way now. If you do it now, you don't have to do it in the future. That just puts you one step ahead of where you could be. So go ahead, jump in, do your live streaming now. And Danielle's in the comments. She's feeling for George here. But guys, I know it's going to suck at first. You will be bad at first. It's like the first pancake never looks good when you make them, right? They say throw away the first pancake. Your first couple of live streams will suck. It will not be fun. It will not be pleasant. You will not love how you sound or look or how you speak or what you talk about. But just get them out of the way so that you can learn and grow. I know, better or easier said than done, but sometimes you just got to jump in and do it. And I have tons of resources on livestreamactionplan.com to help you out with this. So go check that one out. Very, very helpful. Wilma jumped in and said, just want to ask if you can share audio when you are screen share. Okay, hold on. The question comes down to when you are screen sharing video specifically on your live streams, is there audio for that as well? Or if you're sharing a screen that does in fact have audio connected to it, like sound effects and things, does that go through in BeLive? So when you are using BeLive, yes, if you have audio attached to a visual you are putting on screen, it will share that audio. So if you're playing a video, you absolutely have the ability to do that. And we have tutorials here on the page on BeLive, how to use it. But BeLive has recently had some updates. So yesterday, I just filmed a brand new BeLive tutorial. It's going to come out in the next couple of episodes. I think we've got a couple episodes first. But I do have a brand new broken down step for step, button for button, click for click tutorial on how to use BeLive and some really cool new features, including new ways to be putting in your video on your live stream so that you don't have to load massive videos It's going to be really good. So hit the subscribe and notification bell if you have not already, because this one's going to for sure be helpful to you. We're going to keep progressing forward because we're almost at the end of our time, and we have a couple more questions to answer. But if you've got questions live, go ahead and drop those for me now. Eden jumped in and said, I love this. Thank you for always giving us amazing value and these amazing alternatives to using Zoom so that you can get out there and live stream and hold your meetings and do all your businessy things without having to deal with Zoom and some of their tech stuff that they have going on. Eden, always good to see you. Danielle jumped in, and I'm super excited for this question. And she asked, is there room for Snapchat, or has the platform died down quite a bit since TikTok? Snapchat has died down. Snapchat is predominantly a younger audience. TikTok has done exceptionally well at getting people who are older onto the app. We now know that TikTok is no longer for teenagers. It is very strongly for entrepreneurs, and even the older retired generations are grabbing TikTok by the horns and just owning it over there. Snapchat has died down a little, which actually means I want to talk about something that showed up on the news today. Y'all watch the news this morning? Snapchat is actually offering to pay content creators. They have a very big fund. They are paying certain content creators through the end of the year. In fact, if you end up on their main page, you can get $250 for your video. So you have the ability to, like TikTok, create content, put it on Snapchat, and if you hit certain numbers, if you get certain engagement levels, they will pay you for creating that content. Now, this is not quite as advanced as TikTok, but they are doing their best to get back that ground that they had gained, because they want to make sure that they have people who are, in fact, hanging out on Snapchat, and they want to bring the entrepreneurs back to Snapchat. So if you want to make money, you can always try to put your content out on Snapchat right now. But currently, they do not have quite the standing that TikTok does have, but also they still have some legs. So if you're actively using Snapchat and you're doing well over there, keep going. Don't let it go. If you want to try to build up Snapchat, feel free. But right now, the best organic reach is 100% on TikTok. Great question, Danielle. Carlene jumped in and said, very useful step-by-step. I like how you made it look easy, and it should motivate me to be more active on that platform. Thank you. We were talking all about Instagram guides and how you can be using them as an entrepreneur, especially right before the holidays. So check out that video if you have not done so already. Julie jumped in and said, thanks again for your quick response. Any news the rollout of the 30-second reels for everyone? She really wants the longer option. Girl, I understand. Right now, more people are getting that option to do the 30-second reel content, but it is not available to everybody. People are still reporting they do not have it. We know Instagram is incredibly slow sometimes on their rollouts of new features. Again, based on where your account is segmented within their system, the phone type you have, and the country that you live in, and it's just being really slow. So don't worry if you don't have it yet. It will come to you at some point. We don't know when. It is continuing to roll out. I have more people who are reporting that it is now active on their platform, so it is still happening. It just might take a hot minute to get to you. And I know it's not fun, but do the best you can with what you have. And we've actually found that shorter videos perform higher and have more watch retention and a greater watch time. So this could potentially be a blessing in disguise for you. Learn and teach yourself to go shorter and quicker and get to the point faster, and you might actually do better than having that longer content. And then just wait your turn, because you'll get it soon. It will come soon. I promise. It's happening. It's just going to be a little bit on the slow side for that. Danielle does want to know, do you have a favorite social platform to go live on? So when it comes to going live on social media, there are a couple things you need to know. Of course, with YouTube, they do index it in their system, and then when people Google search or they YouTube search, your video can be found. This is the best place to be live streaming if you want to get that watch time later on and to monetize your content. YouTube is fantastic. Facebook does index it in the Facebook system, but they only kick the content out for a couple of days. So when people come to your platform, yes, they can see it, but it's not going to live in perpetuity and be kicked out over and over and over again like it is on YouTube. YouTube is not as good for engagement as Facebook is. Facebook typically has more people coming to engage with you live because they're better at notifying people. They see it in the news feed. It's something people are more active on. So you're going to get a bigger following on Facebook than you do on YouTube, which is also where I simulcast here on YouTube and on Facebook. Instagram is the #1 place for engagement. They're really, really good about notifying people and having them show up for your live streams. And then you can put it into IGTV. You can have up to 1 guest on screen. So it's really good for getting that real-time engagement. And they're doing better at showing it to people over the next couple of days. But after that point, it just kind of lives in your IGTVs and it doesn't get nearly as much watch time as it would on YouTube. TikTok is fantastic for getting engagement in the moment. And you can send presents while you're live. So people can actually give you money while you're on air, which is kind of nice. But they don't have it live anywhere. So after your live stream is over, that's it. Your live stream's done unless you have screen recorded it. Too bad it's lost. You can't do anything with that footage. So it's very much an in the moment thing. It is far less curated than any of the other platforms. And you can do things that are a little more casual because it's not going to live forever and ever until or unless you are screen recording and then repurposing it somewhere else after the fact. All of that to say, I go live on all 4 of those big platforms weekly and frequently, and I do surprises as well. So I really love for engagement going to TikTok. My people show up and they represent. I really love going to Instagram because people are highly engaged over there and it tends to be a little more higher end of a live stream. I can show things off. I can screen share. I can do all the stuff. But YouTube is really, really great for the longevity of my business. So I always make sure I'm streaming on YouTube, and Facebook tags along with that as well. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't have a personal favorite because I do so much all the time because they operate in such different ways. Let's go ahead and let's answer this question as well before we sign off today. I know we're a little over on our time, but I want to get your questions answered. Danielle says, you might have said this earlier when you were talking about guides on Instagram or something like that. How is it that different than a story highlight? This is a fantastic question. So when it comes to guides, make sure you're watching that video that is on our YouTube page. So you can check that out right now. Super helpful. Guides live in their own section on Instagram. So when you go to your Instagram main feed, you're going to see your main feed. You'll see your IGTVs. You're going to see your guides. What else is it? Hold on. Let me pull it up. You can actually take a look at it is what we will do. Okay. So here we've got all of our things right on Instagram. So you've got your your Reels. Sorry, the first icon's Reels. So you've got your main feed, you've got Reels, you've got your IGTVs. The next thing you've got is your guides. So with guides, they live right here. These are not story highlights because these are longer and different types of content. With your story highlights, those are only stories. They are 15 seconds of either a still static image or a video clip. You can only go through there and you have to tap through them. With guides, this is any static post, any video post, any IGTV video, any reel, anything that is on your main feed or you could put in your main feed can go into these guides. So this is longer form content, whereas your story highlights are just those quick little snippets that you can't do too much with. So you can put a lot of stuff in here. So this is just an example I made the other day for you guys to show it off. And it has the title listed. It has a description listed. They can kind of scroll through it and see things in a specific order. So let's just say you're educating on here. You can go through step 1, step 2, step 3 to build something up on how they can do that. And they can just scroll through and see all of these things here in a way that makes sense logically to learn that type of content or to grow with that type of content. And then you can add things to it at any given time. You can do all the good stuff. Guides is where it's at right now. I'm very excited for this one. And they've got a lot of really cool tricked out features for this as well. So check out that video because I show you exactly how to use it and how to grow your business with that. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me today. I do appreciate you sticking around for a few extra minutes so we can answer all of your questions. As always, we will go live every single Wednesday at 10 a.m. to get your questions answered in real time, Eastern time, 10 a.m. I will see you next Wednesday and on Friday. Boy, are we dropping a good video. So stay tuned. We're going to be doing some really cool things on Instagram and on live streaming in the next couple of videos that you do not want to miss out on. Until then, I hope you have a great day. Stay inspired and hit that subscribe and notification bell. And I'll see you again live next week right here.